Alright, what's up, Wolfpack? We got the final video of the 30-day little experiment where I do 2 sets to failure every day. Let me switch this. You guys get a better angle. I'm gonna do something a little different than my usual lifting. As you guys can see, I got the safety bars here. So I've always talked about how I don't really take any of my bench sets to failure, mainly because I don't have a spotter. But I figured do something a little special and do my regular sets. But, safety bars will keep me covered so I can go to true failure. I do plan on doing a physique check at the end of this. I do have some words I want to say before I end the video. But as per usual, it's really just going to be me doing 2 sets and then going from there. Anyways, I'm going to get this warm-up set out of the way. And then we'll go into the first failure set. Oh yeah, in case you guys are wondering, it barely touches my chest before the safety bars. And if I roll it like past my neck, I can hit the safety bars, so I'll be fine in terms of range of motion. All right, now I am going to turn off the camera for now while I get my stuff set up. So I'll turn back on the camera once I got the plates loaded. Okay, plates are now officially loaded. We are starting off with 165 for now. One thing that I am doing also a little differently compared to my normal benching recordings is I already did my set of lat pull downs. I've heard a good amount now that, if you get a little back pump, it'll actually help you out on here. Make it a little easier for you to actually get it off your chest. So I wanted to test it out. Maybe this messes up kind of the data, but I'm not really worried about, figuring out the data at this point. Like, I already have a good understanding of where I've been. And yeah, so, complain if you want, but I'm sticking with this. And I already did the thing. I can't really go back on it now unless I want to wait like an hour. But yeah, I really am happy that I'm ending this 30 days, especially on kind of a better note. As you guys can see, I got a little haircut. I basically have the same haircut and in the same spot where I did my first ever physique video. So, we can do a little comparison. I'll throw a photo of me in a similar spot doing hopefully the same pose. Maybe there'll be some like slight differences, but in total it's going to be a similar pose. You guys let me know if you see any improvement. I obviously haven't, or well, I shouldn't say obviously, but I haven't taken a look what I looked like back then since I made the thumbnail. And when I mean made the thumbnail, just mean I took a screenshot. But I really am excited. Yeah, I do have, like I said, I do have some stuff I want to talk about, but I kind of want to save that till the end of the video because I think it's a little bit more personal in terms of just my mindset ending this off and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like personal is not the best word because it's not like it's like, I don't know. I don't really know how to word it. I don't think I can articulate it well. But, if you want to hear it, stay to the end. Anyways, I'm going to get this first failure set out of the way. Like I said, we have 165 on the bar. And we are going to true failure. That's why there's safety bars. I don't know how many I'm going to do, but I'm going to try and do as many as I can. All right. that's the end of the first set. I think I counted 8 there. So overall, much better than I thought. I thought I was gonna maybe get like 6, but I'm gonna turn off the camera once again so I can re-rack this weight, and then throw on my new weight for my last set. So I'll see you guys then. All right, just loaded up the plates for the last set. Right now we have 185 on the bar. I remember before I even started doing this lifting content, like I want to say, I don't know, July, maybe June. This was my 1 rep max. I remember, it was something I think I probably spent 2.5 months just trying to go from 175 to 185. Failed it tons of times. So, looking at it now where I can kind of do it for a couple reps, maybe not like 8 reps, maybe not, something high like that. But yesterday I was able to do it for 3, and that really pumped me up. So we're going for it again. That's kind of why I want to do this weight. But, even if I don't see any hypertrophy-wise growth in terms of my chest, I can definitely see, the strength gains. But I really am grateful for, kind of just getting myself in the gym, I shouldn't say for myself. I feel like a mix. I've said this a couple times now. You guys know if you kept up, but me listening to Kid Cudi's "Man on the Moon," and my friend Brody, you guys know him by now. Those 2 things, I think, are the 2 biggest reasons I really started going in the gym. I was pumped up from the music, and I knew Brody was trying to get me to go to the gym for a little bit now. So, I will say a lot of the effort's been put in by me, but I don't think I would have truly started if it wasn't for the perfect moment, which, for better or for worse, kind of is how I run my things. I think that a lot of the times me kind of running for that perfect moment has hindered me, but this was really a special moment for me, as that the day I went, it was like one of the greatest days of my life. I think my bench max was 100 pounds. I remember that. My bench max was 100 pounds. We basically did a full body workout that day. And it was probably the most fun I've had with a friend of mine in however long, I'd say prior to me actually doing that, I didn't really go out much. Like, I was starting to get a little bit more open with the people in my school. Like, I think I started going like mid 11th grade. That's when I started going to the gym, and I've been going, hanging out with friends since like, I don't know, early 10th grade. So like, still, I wasn't like a complete recluse like I was prior, but I still wouldn't consider myself the most. I wasn't super fond of leaving my house, and if I did, it was really only to like the school basketball court, so I could shoot some hoops and make every 3 imaginable. But yeah, I really think that moment where I was so hyped up from the Kid Cudi album, and Brody kind of pushing me. I think it really got me out of my comfort zone, and I'm really happy it got me out of my comfort zone, as the gym's like my favorite pastime now. Like, these weekends where you guys don't see me upload, like I'm yearning for the gym. Like um, at every day, I'm like, at this point I'm addicted to gym content now. Like I've been watching TNF is a guy I've been watching a lot now, ever since I really started doing this little series, and like it's one of my favorite pastimes. Is just watching that on the weekends while I'm doing like my laundry or something. Um, so yeah, I really am. I am grateful that that perfect moment kind of hit me, and I really don't think I think I would be much worse off in life if I didn't go to the gym. I think obviously I'd be weaker. Um, I would probably be a lot more lazy, and I feel like I'd have a lot less discipline in general. Like I don't think I'm the most disciplined person in the world. I think if I were to put my discipline on like a scale, I would give it like a good 6. But actually, I think that my ego's kind of getting to me on that one. I would say maybe more like a 4. you know, I'll get into stuff like that a little later. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, if I never went, I don't think I really would have had the discipline I have now, have the you know the mentality to even stick with my job, like, or well, kinda, because like I'm not really, they haven't called me in this entire week, and I really haven't worked in a pretty long time for my standards, but I don't think I would have been as committed to like a work ethic if I never started lifting. Like, I mean, I was enjoying my job prior to me lifting, because that I started before I was lifting, but like I feel like I would have kind of either cut back on the hours that I was providing, or I would have just quit entirely. So uh, one thing I really do suggest, whether you're you know someone who started lifting but it kind of got demotivated, or someone who just hasn't lifted at all, please start lifting. Like I said, it's probably the greatest thing that happened to me in the most recent years. It was great for me to get out of my comfort zone. It's great for my health. And, it built my mental a little bit. So please get back into it. And, only piece of advice, if you want to really, really stick to it, or actually two, is have fun and have a friend with you. You know, uh, I've been saying this a lot to the people around me, but, you know, you could be in the science-based community, which I would say I like to keep in touch with. But if you're not having fun doing the optimal lifts, in the long run you will most likely be less consistent than if you are having fun and doing less optimal lifts. Like you could do, if you're doing regular curls instead of a preacher curl, because preacher curls offer more, or the science is like preacher curls offer a or it's like, what is it? It's a less of a, or it's more restrictive on the just your stabilizing muscles, so it allows you to really target the bicep, instead of a curl where you can kind of sway your arm a little bit to get the arm, or the rep. you know if you're doing regular curls but you're having fun with it, I think in the long run you'll often be a lot more, or you'll be a lot better off than if you were to not have fun and stick to your preacher curls. And to some people it might also just be fun to do the optimal stuff, which is why I still say, I would say look at it, but if you're starting, don't look at it. And for the friend thing, it really just kind of continues to hold you accountable while also improving that fun factor. I like I said, I had Brody to kind of take me under, got me on his push pull leg split that he had at the time, And like I said, it was the most fun I've ever had, or well, one of the most fun things I've had in a pretty long time. So, moral of that really long rant, get in the gym and find someone to do it with you, because in the long run, you'll be better off than if you didn't do it at all. Anyways, gonna end this this recording off with the 185 bench. Like last set, I'm going to absolute failure. If I can't get it up, it'll go on these 50 racks, and then I'll film the next exercise. All right. All right, that's it. Kind of a shorter rep range. I still only did 3, but I'll turn back on the camera when I got the next exercise ready. All right, what's up, Wolfhag? This is the last filmed exercise of the day. Maybe a little anticlimactic for people who've been keeping up. You know, I feel like me doing reverse curls, which is what I'm doing, isn't like the, everybody. I don't think a whole lot of people care about reverse curls. I don't think a lot of people care about their forearms in general when it comes to lifting, but, I think it's probably the one exercise the one muscle group I've really taken pretty far to failure. I think it's probably the hardest I push a muscle, even though it's not really my favorite exercise to do in the world. So we're going to end it off with this is the last record size. Still got a couple more stuff to do outside of this. But as of right now, we're just going to do the bar. Do some warm-up sets, and then we'll go from there. This is, I believe, a 20-pound bar. Just do however many I feel like, and then we'll go from there. I thought a cat was coming down here. I was going to be hyped. Okay. Should be okay for now. Similar to the bench, it's kind of a pain to throw on the weights on this. So I am going to turn off the camera for now while I go load it up. And then I'll turn it back on once I'm ready. All right. Put on the plates. It's officially 70 pounds for the reverse curl. A lot more than I normally do on the cable. That's probably because it's probably a little easier overall due to the non-constant tension. I don't really have anything else that I truly, that I think is important to you guys, but I do have one little rant that I want to go over. And, the whole point is people hate on Little Caesars too much, Little Caesars. I am very much biased towards Little Caesars, so I will say, to some extent, this is entirely my opinion, but Little Caesars honestly is like a top 3 pizza place that I've ever had. And I've had a good amount of pizza in my life. I've had homemade pizza. I've had local shops. I've had other, or like regular restaurant spots. I've had other like big chain foods, or pizzas, like Domino's. And I could say Little Caesars is up there. It really is top 2 for me. It's only beat by a local spot in my hometown. But, Little Caesars is hated on too much. People say, oh, that the pizza tastes like the cardboard, or like it's usually something about the pizza. Like, the pizza's not that bad, you know. I like I'm not gonna say they're wrong, or well, they are wrong, but I'm not gonna say they're wrong as in like it's a unique taste. I think, you know, it's like an acquired taste. I really, you know, the Little Caesars that's kind of close to me. It's not super close. They do a great job. They've always been really nice to me. The only time they've kind of messed me up was when me and Brody were getting a meal, and we ordered it online. Got there, they said they were closed. Um, so we tried to get a refund. They said they'd give me the refund, and they never gave it to me. That was probably the worst thing that they've done for me. But you know, they kind of deserve that. You know, that they've been for my low moments. They've been for my high moments. Literally, today I got some Little Caesars because it's Little Caesars. You know, actually I could show you the pizza. I only ate half of it. And I'm gonna save the other half for either tomorrow or Saturday. But we got a deep dish, and look at this. Ooh, ah. But no, I kind of want to eat it now. Maybe that was bad for a post lift, but Little Caesars is awesome. Anybody who hates on Little Caesars is either too rich or doesn't understand a quality pizza. And you know, that's not even the best part. Like in my opinion, the crazy bread is really what takes home why Little Caesars is so good. Like the the or I want to say it's Parmesan cheese with the kind of I don't even know what's on it, but it's so good and it's so filling that it really is, you know, in my opinion, the perfect pizza. Now, in terms of, you know, your like gut health and stuff, don't ask me too much on that because I really don't know. It's probably pretty bad, considering a lot of a lot of the stuff that we're sold nowadays is not the greatest for your gut health. But you know, I'm not really here to optimize my gut health. You know, maybe I should. I'm not gonna say it's a good idea that I don't, but it's not something I'm entirely focused on right now. And you know, I really am. I would much rather have a slight, or well, I don't know how big of a thing it is for my gut health, but I would much rather have a worse gut and be able to eat Little Caesars than a good gut and no Little Caesars. Little Caesars, I doubt anybody from the Little Caesars team will see this, but you are a goated pizza spot, and I fully endorse Little Caesars. I saw a thing that they gave a homeless guy free pizza. Like, I'm not seeing Domino's do that. So I'm just saying right now, Little Caesars is a goated spot. They keep it cheap, and you know it's a unique taste compared to most pizzas. Whether that's good or bad for you, that's up to you. But for me, it's good. So, you know, don't hate me if you don't like Little Caesars. But I'm gonna fully endorse Little Caesars till I die. Anyways, I feel like I went on a little bit of a too much of a rant there at that point. I do have my first failure set to do. We have 70 bars, or 70 pounds on the bar. I don't know how many I'm going to be able to do, but we are going to go to failure, and we'll see how many we do, and maybe I'll go up. All right. Okay, running it off there. I feel like I was using a little bit too much back on that last rep, but I'm pretty sure I also did 11 reps. So we are going to go up in weight. Not by 25 like I did for the comparison of the warm-up to the first failure set. But we'll throw a 10 on each side. I think that'll be A-okay. Me. Also, if you guys are wondering why I'm a little bit quieter, my mom is sleeping, and you know, I still gotta respect her sleep. I asked her after after I made the video where I was kind of just whispering the entire time, and I guess no one heard me in the house, so that's why I'm being a little louder this time. Hopefully it's a little better for you guys in terms of the audio quality, and you know, hopefully my parents still can't, or well, mainly my mom. Hopefully she still can't hear me. I have a feeling she might have, because I've heard a lot of movement upstairs. But, you know, I'm trying my best. And, you know, I really, I really wish I wasn't whispering in that video. Man, because I feel like it was a little too intimate. I think it made it weird. And that was one of the physique videos. So, you know, that's my take. But, you know, if you guys prefer that, let me know. Also, if you have ideas for videos you'd want me to make, feel free to leave them in the comments. I am trying to figure out some kind of unique content for me to do, because, you know, I could be like Sam Sulek and just film my video or my lifts, but you know, a lot of my lifts do get repetitive, and, you know, I'm not a bodybuilder, or well, I'm not like a pro bodybuilder. So I feel like, you know, at times it'll get boring, and I look kind of weak compared to some of the bigger names in this industry, to the point where, you know, why would you watch me? So, you know, I want to at least switch it up a little bit, make it seem like a little bit more worth your while for watching me, with the similar editing, because as you guys know, I don't like editing. Although I do want to, I did kind of make a little goal to make a recap video once I'm done with this 30-day challenge, which will probably be, I want to say somewhat edited. I'm not gonna say highly edited, because I've never really seen my potential for my editing skills. I've never really tried when it comes to editing. I've really just thrown photos and text and called it a day. But yeah, I'm gonna try and do some editing for a kind of probably like a half an hour long recap video. Half an hour is really just like a guess there. I won't say it's gonna be close to that. It could be, but I have no clue. I'll be real, haven't really even started it yet. But I do want to get it out there, so that, you know, if people happen to come by the channel and see, and, you know, see that video, they don't have to watch every single, like, half an hour long video. Because I know a lot of these videos are pretty long for the average video. You know what, like the average video is like 15 minutes, and mine are going closer to like 30-40 minutes. So, you know, if I can kind of condense it down, a whole series into kind of almost like a movie, I think that'll be helpful in terms of my growth. So, expect a video like that. And to the people who are watching this, I want to let you know right now, if you've seen the entire series, which I don't think a whole lot of people have. I think it's really just my mom, and then if you count me. But you know, if you are someone who's seen it, I don't suggest watching it, because it's really just going to be a recap. I don't think there's going to be anything too different or too outlandish where I'm saying, oh, go watch it. It'll probably just go over some moments, such as like me feeling weird in my bicep and some other stuff like that. So, you know, you do you do what you want to do. But that's one video I do have some kind of planned. And another video I had planned is the day in the life once I get back to college on Thursday. Yeah, this Thursday coming up, or well, a week from now, I guess. I'm gonna film it. I don't know how much editing I'm gonna do to it yet, so I'm not gonna say it's gonna drop on Thursday. But there'll probably be some kind of editing towards it. And I'm also gonna try and keep it as real as possible, because as I've said, past couple of videos since I've been alluding to this, one thing I really don't like about the average day in the life YouTube channels is they'll like kind of reenact themselves waking up, and I think it's the most idiotic thing in the world. I think it really just breaks the barrier of authenticity throughout the day in the life. So I'm going to try and keep it as real as, or well, I will keep it as real as possible. I'm not going to like fake a part of the or like a part of the day just because I didn't get the perfect shot or something like that. It'll be kind of similar to this, but with like maybe some better transitioning and some music and some other stuff. I don't know yet, actually. So, no promises in terms of how the video is going to be, but it is going to happen. That's the only promise I will make. But like I said at the start, if you have something you guys want me to make or something you want me to discuss, feel free to leave it in the comments, because I'm running out of content here. And yeah, you guys, at the end of the day, this channel is kind of to get me to push myself, and also push myself, keep it authentic, and it's also for you guys, because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to be in a position where I could do this full time. I'm not saying I'm in a position right now where I could do this full time, as I make $0 and I'm currently in debt. But if the potential of the industry that I'm in, the YouTube space, could very well make it to where I, don't really have to work a retail job or work a 9 to 5. And if I ever get to a point like that, the only reason I can get there is through you guys watching me and you guys keeping your, willing to take your time out of your day to watch my videos and, kind of build up my following. At the end of the day, word of mouth and organic, like following is really the best way for you to build an audience, from everything I've heard. And you guys are one of the only reasons I could really do that. So, yeah. Please leave your stuff in the comments. That's the final time I'm going to say it for today. Or, well, second to final time. I'm going to say it at the end. But I am going to get this last set out of the way. We now have 90 pounds on the bar. Go for however many I can. And then I'm going to get into the posing. All right. Maybe I went a little too high. Yeah. All right, a little bit of ego lifting right there. I'm going to lower it to 5 pounds on each side. So don't hate me if it's not going as planned. But I'm not trying to ego lift right now. That was loud. Man, I hate doing the barbell stuff, especially when my mom's sleeping, just because the clang is so loud. pounds back. All right, let's try 80 pounds. See if that makes a little difference. I'm not getting a fourth rep. Man, I really fell off there. Like 10 reps on 70 was kind of easy, but couldn't even do 4 on 80, let alone any on 90. So yeah, I guess that's the end of reverse curls. Next time you'll see me with my shirt off, and then I got some words to say after that. But I'll see you guys then. All right, sorry if the audio quality sucks right now. It's gonna suck even more for the clip coming up. I'm gonna show off my physique. Just gonna show post 30 days before that on the left, and then my current physique wherever. So that's really all I said in that. You guys probably won't be able to hear me at all. So sorry in advance, and hopefully you still enjoy it. Alright, what's up, Wolfpack? This is final physique check of 30 days. I try to get the camera angle as close as possible to what it was before. I don't know how perfect I am, but it's good enough. Anyways, I'm gonna go through some of the poses. I'll throw up a photo of me prior, and we'll see how it compares. All right. All right. Yeah. So that's it. I'm gonna turn back on the camera with my shirt on, and then I got some words. All right. What's up, Wolfpack? So, yeah. I just wanted to give one final thank you to, everybody who did take the time to watch this. Only person who I know truly did watch all the videos was my mom. So I first want to thank my mom for, taking the time out of her day. I know she was doing it while in between her job, and giving me feedback. I really want to thank her for all of that. It was really, although some of it I did not use, I'll admit that. A lot of it was really helpful, and it really was encouraging knowing that, I had my mom's support. So thank you, Mom. Don't think I would have, continued this without your support. So thank you there. To the people who aren't my mom who watch the full thing, I also want to thank you, whether you decided to comment or not. I don't know how many of you did and didn't, but that's besides the point. I do want to thank all you guys, even if all you did was watch the recap video that I'm planning on making. Still, that's better than not watching any of it at all. So truly, thank you. If you guys know, one of the biggest reasons I started doing mainly this series, but also kind of the channel as a whole, was just to get out of my comfort zone. I've talked about this in the past, but I'm a really, I'm really quiet when I'm out in public. I really don't like to talk to people, not in an antisocial sense, but it's like I don't really know what to say, and most of the time I'm stuck in my head, and a lot of the times that's kind of limiting to show who I truly am, and what I like to be, and what I like to do. And this is kind of a way for me to still be able to show it, even though I'm not really talking to like another person, like like, I had Brody in the first couple of videos, which made it kind of easy. I could kind of just talk to him and have a kind of reactive feedback. But the solo videos, those are truly up to me in the moment. So that was one of the reasons I started doing this. And even though I don't think this 30-day series was perfect, I think there's a lot of things I could have done better. I really am proud that I kind of stuck through it. I'm happy I'm going to be able to switch splits. And I'm happy that, I pushed myself. I don't think I ever talked about this on camera, but a lot of times for the classes I've had icebreakers be like, what's your biggest achievement? And most of the times, I really don't have achievements, because a lot of the times I quit before before I do anything hard. So for the longest time, I would always say I built a Lego car, because it was the only thing I've fully done that I felt like somewhat accomplished in. The rest of the things I've done in my life have been relatively easy. But, as this challenge, it truly has made me kind of push myself to a point where I truly think, even though, like I said, not perfect, I think this is the hardest thing I've done that, felt like an achievement. I switched my training regimen. I rarely trained to failure prior to this. I would usually stay in a 8 to 12 rep range, and it kind of limited my progressive overload. So I really am happy that I kind of pushed myself to do something like this. I really am grateful to every single one of you watching. Just want to let you know before I kind of end things off, I'm not going to do a video tomorrow. I kind of just want to spend the time with my family, finalize the workout split that I have when I come back to college, and yeah, that's really it. So, final thank you to everybody who watched, and for everybody who might watch after this video's been, or after this series has kind of been long done. And yeah, I do have more content, so don't worry. I'm not gonna go. I know I'm gonna name this the finale or grand finale, but I still have a lot of content that I do want to do, even if it's not the most valuable content or the most unique content. I still want to do it. And yeah, so if you want to follow me on other platforms, my link tree will be in the description. Do your laundry, or let me preface this, okay? If you have any suggestions for videos you'd want me to do, leave it down in the comments. And do your laundry. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video or if you enjoyed the series. And see you guys on Monday. Love you guys.